Once upon a time, there was a young princess named Snow White. She had skin as white as snow, rosy red cheeks, and jet black hair. Sadly, Snow White's mother had passed away many years ago, leaving her to live alone with her loving father. Together, they shared a happy life. One day, however, the king fell in love and married again. The kingdom soon welcomed a new queen, and Snow White gained a stepmother. Snow White tried her best to bond with her new stepmother, but the queen was cold and distant. She would often lock herself away in her bedroom in loneliness. Her stepmother was very proud of her beauty, and she often asked to her enchanted mirror. "Mirror, mirror on the wall," the queen would ask, "who is the fairest of them all?" "You are the fairest in the kingdom, my lady," the mirror would reply, and the queen would smile with satisfaction. As time passed, Snow White blossomed into a kind and beautiful young woman. She often strolled through the village, singing with the children and sharing food with those in need. Her warmth and generosity won the hearts of everyone she met. "Snow White is so lovely," a woman remarked. "I wish I could marry her," said a young man. The queen, however, grew increasingly envious of Snow White's beauty and charm. She never spent time with her stepdaughter, choosing instead to confide in her magic mirror. "Mirror, mirror, am I still the most beautiful?" she asked one day. "You are fair, my queen," the mirror replied, "but there is now someone even more beautiful." The queen angrily shouted at her magic mirror, "Who could possibly be more beautiful than I am?" "Snow White, my lady," the mirror replied calmly. Furious and envious, the queen clenched her fists. "Everyone says Snow White is so lovely, so perfect," she fumed. "Well, they won't be saying it for long." That night, the queen secretly met a hunter in the village. He carried a sharp axe over his shoulder. The queen leaned in, whispered her sinister plan into his ear, and slipped a pouch of gold into his hand. The next day, Snow White strolled through the village, unaware of the danger awaiting her. Suddenly, a stranger grabbed her. "Let me go," she cried, struggling to free herself. The man was the hunter. Without a word, he threw Snow White onto a horse and mounted it himself, galloping away toward the dark forest. The forest grew thicker and darker as they ventured deeper. Snow White noticed the hunter's axe glinting at his side. Fear gripped her. "Please, sir," she pleaded, "I haven't done anything wrong." Tears streamed down her face. The hunter halted the horse with a heavy sigh. "You poor child," he said, his voice softening. "Go, but don't ever return home. The queen has ordered your death." Snow White gasped in shock. "Why would she do this?" she asked. "It doesn't matter," the hunter replied, his voice grim. "Just run." Snow White fled into the forest, her heart pounding. The hunter watched her disappear into the darkness. "She'll never survive in this forest," he thought with regret. Snow White ventured deeper into the foreboding woods. She climbed over rocks and roots, pushing forward with determination. Finally, she stopped to rest, her breaths heavy. "How vast is this forest?" she wondered aloud. "I've been walking for hours, and now I'm completely lost." The shadows stretched long as the sun began to set, and a cold wind rustled the leaves. Snow White shivered. "I must find shelter," she said, scanning her surroundings. Suddenly, a sharp snap echoed through the silence. Snow White froze, holding her breath. Was the hunter coming back for her? Panicked, she began to run. When she sat up, she saw glowing eyes staring back at her. A lion, she thought, fear gripping her once again. The lion growled and stepped closer, its gaze locking with hers. But then something unexpected happened. The lion expression softened, and it wagged its tail before turning and running off. That was strange, Snow White whispered, her heart still racing. As she stood, she noticed a faint light flickering through the trees. Snow White's eyes widened in hope. Could it be? She wondered, hurrying toward the light.